Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lucid 9. In the last episode, we finally learned that the missing kids were murdered, and Mr. Ryuta, of all people, knows as well. He's the one who told us. He also brought up the fact that no one is being told the truth. The city and the police are hiding this. I won't lie, I am literally doing a red string diagram right now, trying to figure out who the killer is. Killers are. But without further ado, let's get right back into it. Shigure struts out of the shadows, her face completely expressionless. Did it occur to you that I might have things to do tonight? No, it did not. Come this way. She turns on her heels and begins to strut down the sidewalk. We travel in complete silence, whatever. At first, I am only able to bear it for around 10 minutes before things get too uncomfortable. You know, if you're mad at me, you might as well say it. I should discuss these psychological problems with Shigure. No, what am I thinking? She'll wonder if my sources are accurate. I'll either have to tell her my informant, or I'll have to drop the issue. And knowing Shigure, even if I don't give her the identity of my informant, she'll figure him out eventually. Shigure takes a turn into the area that I instantly recognize, for better or for worse. Nothing is as welcoming as the smell of rotting litter, cigarettes, and a trace of burning drugs. I cover my face with my sleeve in vain attempt to block out the foul smell. Isn't this District 6? Don't tell me. You're giving me another test, aren't you? Please no, I don't want no more riddles. A quiet Shigure is far more unnerving than an abusive one. I almost miss the canon of verbal assault. We have arrived. She gestures to a large, beaten-down apartment complex before us. The dilapidated building is littered, and littered streets around us don't do wonders for this district's notoriety. That's for sure. What are we here for? An inkling in the back of my mind whispers, to kill you without anyone seeing. But I shove it to some crevice of my brain. Shigure withdraws a simple index card from her jacket pocket, showing it to me. This. There are only 3 numbers written on it. 338. What's that, an apartment number? She only nods. I follow her down the path between the apartments, what? Surreptitious. I don't know that word. Glancing around for any signs of suspicious figures. This is definitely not my idea of a vacation spot, that's for sure. Finally, Shigure comes to a short stop in front of a door with the number 338 emblazoned on it. She clears her throat for a second, takes a deep breath, and knocks lightly thrice. Give me a minute. The voice that comes from within the apartment is light, feminine, and nothing like what I expected. It's followed by the sounds of scraping, shifting, and screeching, as if a number of hefty objects are being moved around the room. Come in. Shigure tries the doorknob and it turns with ease. She pushes open the door and I step inside, unsure of what to expect. The front room is neatly tidy and utterly plain. The only messy feature is a few cushions scattered idly about the floor, topped with several popular magazines. Well, if it isn't the great detective herself. Natsuki? My attention turns to a large couch near the center of the room, upon which lounges a small-framed girl. Her clothes are edgy but neat. No, that's not Natsuki. Natsuki has green eyes. Although her eyes are a deep chocolate brown, they're some of the coldest I've ever seen. I swear that I've seen her before. Yeah, is that Natsuki? What brings you to this side of town, Enomoto? They look alike. Shigure sits on a nearby cushion stiffly. As always, I'm deficient of request... God damn, Shigure, why you gotta use weird words? I am deficient of requisite intelligence. Oh yes, you're always lacking in intelligence. Shigure bristles. Of the informative sort. The girl only smirks and turns to me. The predatory glint in her eyes snaps everything into place. I feel I was right, it is Natsuki. I thought Natsuki had green eyes. Natsuki. Natsuki Tanaka. The interesting, unnerving friend of Elizabeth Oshihiro. Huh. The way she sits, the clothes she wears, even the color of her eyes, they're all dressed. I knew the eyes were different! They're all drastically different from school, but I know with certainty that she's the same person. The angles of her expression, the tilt of her posture, it's the exact same. Oh, how interesting. I thought that I would have a swarm of questions, that I'd be shocked, but I'm not. Not really. I almost feel like a small part of me had been expecting something like this. Odd. Especially from Natsuki. Is being a student just a cover, or are you actually one? To be or not to be? Surely that is the question. Don't go quoting Shakespeare on me. Shigeri clears her throat impatiently. As constant as two of you, as content as the two of you appear exchanging pleasantries, I am here regarding a matter of urgency, Natsuki. Natsuki raises an eyebrow, a single eyebrow. You know my price. Ah, yes. How much yen shall... Don't feign ignorance, Enomoto. It doesn't suit you. Your almighty brain should be able to remember something as trivial as my currency. Shigeri flushes at this. I feel so sick right now. What? Certainly you don't think I would forget something as important as that. Shigeri mumbles something indescribable while pulling at her cap over her face. Maybe that's why she was so quiet. She wasn't angry at me, she was dreading coming here. What would you have me do? Natsuki catches my eye, a mischievous glimmer in her gaze. What's your favorite animal, Ishimoto? And do choose something reasonable, not a duck-billed platypus, yes? What for? She only winks at me. I guess I'll have to give her an animal to find out. To be honest, I prefer birds, so chicken. Chicken, I guess. She smirks at Shigeri, who sends me a look of horror. Ishiyama, we will need another talk concerning your pay. Natsuki clearly vanishes into the adjacent room. When she emerges after a few minutes, she's holding a full-size chicken costume. What? Put this on, and what the hell? Grumbling, Shigeri yanks the costume over her clothes and zips it off. Wait, what? There, satisfied? She really did put it on. I wish they had her in the... What the fuck is going on? Give me a nice loud buck, buck, buck. Buck, buck, buck. Seeing Shigeri so subdued is pretty unnerving. I can't believe that such a proud person would stoop so low. Just what kind of person is this Natsuki? Now, Yamashimoto, a chicken is incapable of speaking English, so you'll have to be Shigeri's mouthpiece. Before that, however, I believe we have some catching up to do. What are you, an ordinary, ignorant civilian, doing caught up in a nasty business like student murders? How the hell does she know? Be truthful. I work for Shigeri. Dear Enomoto, picked you to work for her? Oh, isn't that precious? Two useless fools bumbling around together. I have a bad feeling about this. A washed-up, headstrong detective who was blinded at the first sight of murder. And an irresponsible, selfish teenager who takes nothing seriously. At least we're trying to help. You're right. We're still learning, but at least we're trying to help. It would be better for you to leave this to the professionals. You can't exactly say that to the police are doing much better job. Please, the police are about as professional as taco-selling clowns. Are you not aware of the pathetic state of their CCTV coverage? Why, one can hardly see anything that happens around the city. I'm sure Enomoto found this an unpleasant surprise while she was investigating into the school. Really, the student's obsession with privacy is just adorable. Think how easy the killer could be caught with a few more camera installations. Then who are these so-called professionals? People with knowledge. Knowledge is power. Hence why we want it. Oh, for what purpose? I'll use it to save lives and stop this repulsive killer. Oh, how childish. I'd rather be childish than be a pompous jerk. She only laughs at this. You're cute. Maybe I should keep you. Can I keep you, Enomoto? I will... She waves her index finger at Shigure. What are chickens supposed to say, Enomoto? Bak, bak, bak. I think that means I can keep you. Her treatment of Shigure sends a spiral of nausea straight to my gut. What a deplorable human being. I don't even have an answer for her. Natsuki evaluates my expression for a long moment, and something in her face changes slightly. Would you like a drink? Well, that wasn't a sudden at all. What are you going to do, poison it? That's a bit of a rude assumption. Not exactly a baseless one. How... I do show courtesy to my guests. Yeah, because you've been so very courteous. She continues to examine me, a slight smirk pulling at her lips. God, she looks so evil! Good to know you aren't as weak as you appear. Would you like coffee, tea, milk? Some manners would be nice. She ignores this, heading out of the room. She faintly calls behind as she leaves. I wonder what our little chickadee should have. I do have some moldy corn I've been meaning to throw away. Maybe I can dump it in a bowl for her. Shigure huffs at this, but keeps her mouth shut until Natsuki has completely left the room. Then she pulls herself over to me, her voice low and urgent. Take control of the conversation and get the information. I can't stand much more of this. How am I supposed to do that? I don't even know enough about the case. Natsuki has amazing connections. She has information a lot others don't. And as long as I pay her what she wants, we can get it from her. What am I supposed to ask about? Shigure opens her mouth to answer, but Natsuki's approaching footsteps. She quickly shrinks back into her cushion. Natsuki re-enters the room, placing a glass of iced tea before me and a glass of water before Shigure. I surreptitiously sniff it, which she catches. If you don't mind indirect kisses, I could sip it for you to prove isn't poisoned. I'll pass. She smirks, sitting on the couch. Guess this is my chance to ask some questions. So, how do you and Shigure know each other? Shigure shoots me a dark glare as if to say, what does that have to do with anything? But I ignore it. As you may have noticed, we have this symbiotic, I know what that word means, exchange from time to time. I have information that she needs, so she pays me for it. How can we know that this information is reliable? You could be lying to us. Natsuki raises an eyebrow, seeming impressed. Enomoto thought the same on our very first interaction, so I gave her a free trial period. She's yet to find me wrong. Isn't that right, Chickie? Well, Bach. And there you have it. She turns to me expectantly, as if waiting for my move. I wonder what I should ask about. Is this case related to any other cases? Or perhaps there's some info that we can merge? Ah, now you're asking the right questions. You know the two of you have been so exemplary that I'll even give you a little treat. What do you say? Sure, I guess. Natsuki doesn't seem to be fazed by my lack of enthusiasm. She only slowly leans forward, enunciating each syllable with painstaking precision. The independent killings. Independent? This means nothing to me, but Shigure immediately bolts upright, her eyes glimmering with excitement. Tanaka, you must. We're not in Narnia, Enomoto. Talking animals do not exist. Shigure sullenly settles on the ground, but I can tell that she is in vital breaking point. What are the independent killings? For the past 2 years, 2.5 perhaps, there have been sporadic, brutal murders all around Asano. Innocent civilians with no relation to one another were massacred in the most terrible of deaths, left as bleeding corpses in the streets. The only connection was their time of death, which was always at night, and their autopsies, death by blood loss from uncontrollable lacerations. Uncontrollable lacerations. My head spins, my vision from the forest this morning re-enters my thoughts. What does that even mean? They were cut to pieces, skinned alive, sliced until the lifeblood out of them? Is Natsuki implying that 3 students at the academy went through something like that? How could no one know about this? The police did their utmost to conceal knowledge from the public, lest even more chaos falls onto the city. We deserve to know when these things happen. Oh, Ishimoto, the last thing you want to do is tell a herd of sheep that there's a wolf in their midst. She has a point. The way she says this, as if she's right and there is to it, is that's all there is to it, irritates me. But I have to push it away in order to continue the conversation. So, you're saying this case is the same as the independent killings. Did I say that? Then, the killer is the same. Did I say that? Shigure leaps forward, words tumbling excitedly out of her mouth. The killer is one and the same, for the longest time. Hush, Enomoto. Remember, chickens can't speak. Shigure withdraws, a dark glare in her eyes. Why do you treat Shigure like that? You can say that even after seeing how she treats everyone around her. You can say that even after how she pretends as if everyone around her is trash beneath her feet. I'm simply giving her taste of her own medicine. That's not exactly the best line of logic, but I guess if I had power over Shigure, I wouldn't want her to forget in a hurry. Still, this method just feels wrong. Even if I had a hard time stomaching her treatment, and I'm not even going through it. I'd be better if I could consult her. I'm not sure what to ask. Then how about something more interesting? Such as? She lounges against the couch. Well, for one, yesterday you were in the most compromising position with Rui Hayata on the Ferris wheel. A bolt of ice plunges into my stomach. I thought she only knew general information. Mystery information? Crime information? How could she know about that? It seems there's quite an interesting story behind that. Who told you? You presume that someone needed to tell me in order for me to know? She has eyes everywhere, goddamn. Did you access security cameras? That's certainly an interesting possibility. Nothing she says is satisfactory. Nothing. How did you know? How did you know about that? The same way I know that you were in District 6 3 nights ago on Enomoto's ridiculous test. The same way I know you watched a most entertaining, albeit mindless, robot fight at the theme park. The same way I know that your apartment key code is the frankly pitiful 14789. God damn! She pauses, her eyes glinting in amusement. Womanly intuition. She's insane! I make it my business to know everything, Ishimoto. I work to speak past my dry throat. No one can know everything. No one. You're right. I just know everything that matters. I raise the glass of iced tea to my lips, but my hands are shaking. Why are you telling me this? Because, well, I have a little message for you. She elegantly raises to her feet, but her eyes have regained their cold sheen. Back off, Yama Ishimoto. You don't know what you're dealing with. She grabs the glass from my frozen hands and heads to the kitchen. Don't forget the animal on your way out. Shigure, who's seething with a mixture of rage and humiliation, promptly rips off the costume. Tanaka, you're with... Natsuki swiftly whips around, staring Shigure dead in the eyes. Then, in one fluid motion, she stuffs something into Shigure's pocket and whisks into the kitchen. Shigure stares at whatever Natsuki gave her, then motions sharply to me. Ishimoto, we're leaving, now. I don't even get to say as... I don't even get a say as I'm forcibly dragged out of the apartment and back to the street. God damn, what the hell happened? We stagger into the cutting night air, out of breath and stooped over in shock. I take a moment to gather my thoughts before I can force out any words. Why did you bring me here? To be miserable, to show me that I was in over my head, to give me yet another reason why I'm an incompetent subordinate? I can't handle her alone. I don't think we can handle her together. Actually, that was the most bearable she's ever been. Either my Shiguri translator just became embedded in my subconscious, or this woman is speaking like everyone else. Not only that, but she actually gave a compliment that wasn't backhanded. Who is this imposter and what has she done with Shiguri? Nevertheless, Ishimoto, you're fired. Wait, what? Did she just call me by... But wait, she's firing me? Yes, I'm firing you. You have fulfilled all necessary services. I no longer see a reason to expend resources on a useless assistant. She seems almost back to normal. Almost, but it's too abrupt for me to believe that she's being genuine. If you interfere with my work, I'll have you detained. I have connections with the police. I would prefer not to use it, but I will if I must. Why? Oddly enough, Shiguri seems to flatter at this simple inquiry. Falter. It's for your own safety. You must trust me. Trust. That's a nice word. And this has nothing to do with Natsuki's warning on how I should stay out of this. Truly, you were my assistant for a reason. What's that supposed to mean? It is a little of consequence. You were fired because you no longer fit the job. I clench my jaw and hold back a pulse of anger, which was basically being an errand boy. Pardon me if I fail to see the extensive qualifications that an errand boy needs to fulfill. Let me tell you my own theory, huh? The independent killings, you know an awful lot about them, considering that they're supposed to be hidden from the general public. You were involved in those cases in some way, weren't you? And when you noticed that 2 students disappeared from the allegedly impervious academy, something clued you in that they had to be tied to the independent killings. Maybe it was evidence, probably just intuition, considering you had to get Natsuki to confirm it to you. Ishimoto, you do not understand. So you saw that the students were disappearing from the academy, and 4 days ago you decided you need to get inside and figure out for yourself what was happening. But security's tight. You couldn't hope to just snoop around unless someone willingly let you in. In the midst of my indignant wrath, the puzzle pieces begin to shuffle into place, pulling together a faint memories that I thought I'd forgotten. So you had to approach a student. You had to make specific connections, someone who would let you investigate the school without asking any questions. You hired me before you were officially brought into this investigation, after all. Well, it's true, isn't it? You just needed to use me to access the academy. That's why you approached me on the street that day. Go home, Ishimoto. She says this wearily. I can only sigh in disbelief. Then, what was that test for? Why did you sent me to some place that was dangerous, some place I shouldn't handle, that I couldn't handle. But I had, and I did, and I solved all her stupid little puzzles with the help of the internet. I had proved myself fair and square. What for? Being tossed away like garbage? No, now I understand. What upsets me is not that Shiguri approached me with ulterior motives. I expect ulterior motives from everyone. What upsets me is what she's doing now. Tell me how. Ishimoto, tell me, Shiguri, how do I prove myself? Give me some riddle or logic puzzle that I can look up on the internet. Or I don't know, a complicated piece of Sudoku. No, not Sudoku. God, no. Actually, no, I'm actually kind of good at that. I'm supposed to help, supposed to be your assistant. Shiguri slams her foot into the nearest trash can. It doesn't topple, but the reverb of leather against this tin stops me in my tracks. She leans close, eyes narrowed with intensity. Ishimoto, I will only say this once. You may think you fully understand the circumstances of which you surround these crimes, but you are sorely mistaken. Do not be so quick to forget that I am nearly a decade your senior, and have seen a great many cases that are beyond your comprehension. I speak not of your intelligence, but your mental capacity. You are yet very fragile, Ishimoto, and this case may break you. That didn't worry you before. Then let me ask you this. Are you ready to physically examine a body that has been masterfully taken apart by a sadist with all the time in the world? No. No. Just the thought makes me queasy. There has to be something else I can do. Enough! I tire of this conversation. This is my decision, Ishimoto. I'll be certain to compensate you for the time spent until now. Go home safely. So, that's it then. Because I'm still young. Because I'm too unstable to be able to see a mutilated body. I can't be any of use. Shigure. Farewell, Ishimoto. Let us not meet again. And just like that, she turns on one heel and strides away. For a moment, I stand frozen in the streets, watching her figure melt into the smoky evening air. Didn't I want a quiet senior year? A year of breezing by with my friends, no fuss, no muss? No coconuts? I had always wanted a quiet life, probably something that involved managing the family restaurant. Oh, okay, his parents are still alive. Cool. Didn't know that. Which I had neither passion nor patience for, but seemed like the least painful option in a lot of life. Really, I can't blame Shigure, can't I? No, some part of me still feels like I deserve a better explanation. Maybe even a reward. After all, didn't I get her something vital from Natsuki Tanaka? Oh, no, that's right. I'm withholding information from her, information that I gathered from a confidential informant. Perhaps she doesn't trust me, but neither have I been trusting her. If anything, this encounter only solidified my decision. I don't know what will happen. I can't predict the actions of the people who are close to me. All that's left is to look around and keep digging. Try to pull things together myself, even if I am just a random student at random stuck-up school. Which means I need to start with anything weird that's happened over the past few days. Weird. Such as emails from an unknown sender sporadically popping up. Pretty convenient timing when I think about it. Maybe I should just send something random. See how they respond. This is a bad idea. Do it when you're home. At first, I thought you were nothing stupider than doing something that made no sense, regardless of whether I enjoyed it or not. Today changed my mind about that. There are things worth doing, even if, at first glance, they make no sense. There are things that can be appreciated, even if they serve no use. There are things that deserve to be given a chance, even at their worst. But I didn't realize this until it's too late. Now, to head back home and get some rest, because it's been a long day. I dream of pools of sludge, laughing bones, and shards of glass splitting across the edge of my skin. I wake in a cold sweat with my heart thumping against my ribs. For a moment, I can only lie there breathlessly, struggling to recollect my thoughts. It's over. You'll never have to do stupid, dangerous things again. You no longer have anything to do with those crimes. Unless, of course, it's by my own volition. I throw my uniform and head to the kitchen, selecting some simple fruit for breakfast as I scroll through my phone. Looks like I have another email from the mysterious Crimson Crusade. Obviously the killer. I see life as a troll sounds quite difficult. I, too, would be upset if I was forbidden from forecasting the weather. How do you feel about this development? The plain, honest words are a soothing balm in the midst of all the deception I've undergone. I compose a valid response. I don't know. This was the first time I actually felt like I was good at something useful. Now that it's gone, I have nothing. If I had another chance, I'd take it eagerly, but I doubt I'll get one. This is a bad idea, Yama. I send the message as I finish up breakfast, waiting for a response. This time, though, I'm only greeted with silence. Maybe I was too philosophical. Maybe I was too serious. Maybe they won't respond again. It's not my problem, is it? When it's clear that their reply won't come anytime soon, I grab my backpack and head to school. Despite the beautiful weather, the atmosphere is stifling. The entrance, usually occupied by students before class, is desolate. Curious, I head to the courtyard. It's almost just as empty, only a handful of students are scattered around the corners, whispering frantically beneath their breaths. I notice a solemn Yako on a nearby bench speaking with an equally solemn boy. It's such an unusual sight that I creep closer, trying to get a hint of their conversation. Would take it so hard. How's he been? Hanging in there, I guess. He said that he wasn't coming today. Why not? Didn't say. He's been spending a lot of time in his dorm, though. He won't respond to me. And he talked with Ari. Ari? Why would that matter? Come to think of it, Ari has always been surrounded by rumors, even before people accused her of being a source of disappearances. Excuse me. If I remember correctly, it wasn't that she caused the disappearances herself. Rather, she supposedly emitted this aura of bad luck that indirectly led to their misfortunes, so basically she's the Mothman. Pointing fingers is usually unnecessary, but this is getting weird. She talks to Midori, and Midori freaks out and disappears. Then it's Tooma, who freaks out and also disappears. Even Akane. And Shoji, too. Yesterday she came up to him at lunch. He won't tell me what they talked about. But he's also acting differently. For now, just keep trying to talk with him. Whatever you do, don't leave him alone. Right, see you after class. Yeah, you hang in there too, okay? As always. The boy strides away. Yako slumps on the bench, dropping his hands over his eyes. It's so out of character that I have to pinch myself to make sure I'm not dreaming. God, the music's gotten creepy! When I decide that I'm fully awake, that serious Yako is actually a thing, I approach the bench. Hey. Yako immediately bolts upright, all signs of tension melting from his face as he dons his characteristic smile. Why, hello, my good minion. What brings you to this place? That's suspicious still. Still, I prefer that he not know why I was eavesdropping on him. I play along. Do you know why the school's so quiet? Do I know why the sky's blue? Do you? Do I? He seemed back to normal. If this is what his normal state really is. Oh, right, I remember. Apparently the police dug up some body in the woods or something. It caused a big uproar. Why? Well, it's one of the disappearing students. You remember her? Akane Tsukino? That name definitely sounds familiar, and it's not just from the investigation. Her boyfriend's a wreck, the poor sap. Her boyfriend? Boyfriend? Akane disappearance. A boyfriend who was worried sick. She must be the girlfriend who's the guy who I'd fought the other day. Right. They were blaming Ari for her disappearance, and I stepped in. And right in her boyfriend's face, I told him he'd get over Akane in a week or two. Her body was found. Well, what was left of it? What was left of it? Hold on, something's beginning to make sense. The police officer, Officer Katsu was it, said that I was on a crime scene. In that case, when was her body found? Don't tell me. Yesterday, or so the rumors go. Yesterday morning? Yeah, how'd you know? An immense wave of guilt washes over me. Akane Tsukino, dead. I vaguely remember the harsh words I spewed at her boyfriend, Shouchi? Was it? No, Shoji. How could he be feeling now? You'll get over her in a week or two. I said that. I said that when I thought he was clingy and irrational and blaming Ari. Now she's dead. Brutally murdered in the depths of the Itsamu forest without a single soul to mourn her passing. On the bright side, if there is one, I now understand far more than I used to. Why Officer Katsu was at the forest. Why he claimed it was a crime scene. Why Shigure asked me to go look. Because a body had been found. An actual body. Hey, you okay, dude? Looks like Yako noticed my silence. I can only continue my line of inquiry. At the very least, maybe I can somehow help the investigation without Shigure. He's gonna get himself killed. Shoji's the name of her boyfriend, right? Yeah, do you know him? Yeah? How? At the most inconvenient moment, the warning bells toll. Yako immediately grins. Whoops, guess that's the bell. I mustn't have my perfect reputation tainted with rumors of tardiness. He strides to our classroom, beckoning for me to follow, even stranger. I apprehensively walk alongside him, wondering just how much I actually know about Yako Akari. I used to believe that I knew everything about Yaako. He seemed simple at first glance, as readable as my books from third grade. I still remember how he looked, somehow pulling 3 bulky suitcases through the door with his skinny arms. He was smiling then, too, in fact. I rarely saw him without a smile. "Hello, Rumi." I had already unpacked and was currently lying in my bed, reading some novel or another on my phone to pass the time. I didn't even look up to issue my greeting. "Yo. The name's Yaako Kari, and from today onward, I am your new overlord." This caught my attention. I hastily glanced up. The first thing I noticed was his hair. It was bright yellow, the one thing that made it pretty noticeable. It was also cut around his face in a swaying layers like it was some kind of idol. The next thing I noticed were his shoes. Most of the kids at the academy had nice shoes, of course, but his were on a different scale of nice. They were loafers, brown like usual, but they were also etched with unusual designs that glowed with the sheen of some expensive material. Later, I found out that they were custom made from Italy. Not that I need to know that to make judgment. I refer to my book board. Womanizer, rich kid, arrogant, neat freak at the very least. This type wouldn't be a terrible roommate, as long as I didn't have to talk to him. When I think about it now, I really shouldn't come as surprised that his parents are higher-ups at Lemonsgate. His grades are nowhere good enough to get a scholarship, and yet he waltzes into this expensive, prodigious school, wearing Italian loafers and probably scarves from Sweden. Not to mention that, as ignorant as it might be, if anything of value, he's always up to date on the latest pop culture and technological releases. Hey, pay attention to me. What does that mean? So, you're paying attention. I expected him to explode in a fit of angry entitlement. Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? Do you know what I could do to you? But he did something completely unexpected. He dropped his luggage and immediately raced to my side, his eyes shining. "Are you speaking another language?" "Huh?" I've always wanted a multilingual minion. This is perfect. I amended my first impressions from arrogant to crazy. Regardless, this was a pretty good opportunity to have some fun. Can you, write that all down? You can't write? Does that mean yes or no? So, wait, what? The bewilderment on his face was so genuine that I couldn't help but laugh. Of all people I'd met, this guy had to be the most gullible. "My name's Yama." "Oh, I understood that." "Really?" "Yes. It's only to be expected. Someone as amazing as me can pick up a language at a snap." "I see. Can you understand this?" "Yeah." You know what he reminds me of? That old Yaako reminds me of Keanu Reeves' character from Bill and Ted. That's who he reminds me of. I think that's who I'm sort of channeling when I do Yaako's character. "What about this?" "Yeah." "And this?" I understand it. I understand it all." "Wow, that's amazing. You know all 20 dialects of my language." He beamed with pride. "Of course I do. I'm an Akari." "I see. So, what planet are you from?" "Planet? Wow, that was a sudden jump." "Jupiter." "Really? I didn't know people lived on Jupiter." "Not people. Jarzites?" I paused for dramatic effect before reeling off anything that came to mind in that moment. "We are invincible from physical impact. We are humanoid, but our blood is blue. We abhor earthen insects, but have a strong affinity towards animals." Wait, let me take notes of this. I need to know how to best utilize a Jarzite minion. He eagerly dug through his luggage, tossing clothes, cosmetics, and Lemonsgate tech here and there in the midst of his frantic search. I shook my head in disbelief. Did he actually believe that I was from another planet? "Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with it." "Write down the following phrase." "Yeah? This is a joke. This is... funny. In our world, that means you're just messing around." Was he serious? "That's what this is. A joke. I'm from Earth." "No, silly. You're a Jarzite." "I was joking. I'm not a Jarzite. I'm an actual human being." "What?" Yes, he was serious. He was actually serious. Why did you tell me you were a Jarzite? This guy could pretty much believe anything, wouldn't he? Tired of proving explanations, I simply returned to my book, but Yako almost hit it out of my hands. What about your name? Was that a lie too? What? Your name, Yama? If you really want to check, our names are on the door. His face immediately turned blank. I sighed. You didn't see it when you came in. There are two nameplates, Yako and Yama. Well, my good minion, never fear. I hold nothing against you for concealing such vital information from me. I didn't conceal any... Now, if you may grant me silence, I must unpack. I sigh again and return to my book, resigning to bear with this obnoxious roommate for my entire year. My opinion of him hasn't changed much since then. He's still egotistical, oblivious, and mildly insane, but he always means well, even if it is in the oddest ways. Despite my frequent criticism of him, his stupid actions actually cheered me up. Now that he seemed to be struggling with something, I want to repay the favor. And we're going to cut it here. I got this horrible sinking feeling that Yama's going to get himself killed. I mean, Shigure told him to stop for a reason. She's concerned about him. Natsuki is the most shady character I've ever seen in a game. She's more shadier than Monica, and Monica literally played God. Now that I said her name, she might appear. I shouldn't do that. She's still on my desktop. But, so the killer's been killing. Now he's targeting students. She knows more than she lets on, Natsu. Misa thinking hard. Well, I had a feeling Natsuki was connected to Shigure somehow. But I thought, but why did Natsuki mention that split personality shit all those episodes ago? Something doesn't fit right. Something doesn't fit right at all. I know Ari's not the killer. Ari can't be the killer. I think the killer's Shigure and Natsu. Who better to be a killer than someone who can hide the body from the cops? Who can mislead the cops purposefully, but I don't know, I'm rambling. The killer might not even be a character that's been introduced yet, but I have a feeling we've known the character from the very beginning. Mr. Ryuta knew too much. I don't know. My mind's racing right now. If you're enjoying this series as much as I am, please leave a like and share it around. It helps me know that you're enjoying my content. Follow me on Twitter to know when all my videos go live, as well as know the fate of my channel, and to know when I'm going to be doing Twitch stuff. That won't be until March, so you got time for that. But, with all that said, this has been Black Phoenix yet again with another episode of Lucid 9. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.